just opened up their talents to all of us to participate with them here tonight. Again, my name is Trey Czar. I'm here with the Jacksonville Public Education Fund to put together this exhibit and this night and the upcoming One by One campaign, which I'm going to talk to you very briefly about. I know I'm not nearly as interesting as the folks who are on stage or the speakers who will come after us, but I did want to just say that this is really the start of something here tonight. We have hundreds and hundreds of folks who come out to tell the city of Jacksonville how important it is that we improve public education, and that really starts here tonight. I have a few thank yous. First of all, I want to thank the JPEF staff. We have 7 amazing people who, in addition to a cadre of amazing interns who have really just worked their heart and souls out for the last year and a half putting this thing together. And so, can you please join me in giving them a big round of applause? So for those of you that haven't had the chance yet, or if you have, to go across the hall and really experience this exhibit, it's really something to behold. We were just blown away by the stories of young people when we went out and asked for nonprofits in the school system and others to tell us, point out some kids who have really amazing stories, and many of whom have defied the statistics and really just made something of themselves and become an example for our entire community. And each of their stories is very, very unique. But when you read them and you spend a little time reflecting, as you go home tonight, you'll see they really weave together this interesting story about the power of community in schools. And there are always things that we must as a society demand out of our public schools. Great teachers, rigorous instruction, safe buildings, but there's also so much that the community has to deliver as well, in after school and in financial resources and in mentorships and good adult role models. And then when we find that balance between the two, we really find this magic place where we can see tremendous outcomes for kids. And so, as this exhibit starts to move around, it'll be here through December, beginning in January, from January through August next year. It'll be in 16 different locations across the community. They're all listed on the bottom here. The idea is to get these stories out and get them into the neighborhoods and get them into the hands of everyday Jacksonville citizens and challenge them to get past education as this big, whopping, complex, expensive, difficult to address issue, and start to remind folks what really matters. That's the 125,000 kids that exist in our public school system today. We're very excited, also, as this exhibit starts to move around, to host more than 100 small conversations, asking members of the community to pull together their friends and their neighbors into their homes and businesses and churches to have a conversation about what our school system should look like. Because that's a very powerful thing. Before we can start to fix the challenges we have, we all have to be on the same page and moving forward with the same goals, and that's really where this campaign heads, is through the voice and the vision of the community into improvements for our kids. And so I would strongly encourage you, as you head out of here tonight, all of you got a form that looks like this when you came in. One of the most powerful things we've done with this exhibit so far is ask everyday citizens, everybody we meet, whether they would be willing to lend their name in endorsement of this campaign, to say that this is our generation's challenge to improve and fix our education system so that all children have the chance of being college and career ready. And so if you're willing, I would ask that you fill this out, check the little box that says endorse one by one. We're going to have an amazingly long list of endorsers when we shortly on the website, and we're very excited about that. And we'd love to show in addition to the hundreds of folks who come out here tonight, that there are folks who stand behind this campaign with one of their most prized possessions, their name. Finally, just before I introduce our much more honored speaker than me, I wanted to quickly thank some folks whose financial contributions have made tonight possible. We have a series of sponsors. They're all listed on a board outside, but I wanted to specifically acknowledge our presenting sponsors, who are a group of individuals and businesses and foundations that have really said that this is the time. Education is too important. We cannot wait. We have a unique opportunity in the city of Jacksonville to make a difference. And as the group up here said, it just takes one push to sort of get us over that hump and start some momentum. And I think this very well could be that night. So in addition to everybody here tonight, we want to thank the Chartrand Foundation, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, the Cynthia Edelman Family Foundation, Everbank, the Regency Center Corporation, the State of Florida, the David Stein Family Foundation, Jay and Deanie Stein, and Wayne and Dolores Weaver. We absolutely could not do this without their support, without each and every one of you here tonight. So before I bore you to death, I want to introduce you to the stars of the evening, and we have a number of the 20 students who've been so generous with their likenesses and their stories here with us tonight. I just wanted to quickly introduce them, and I think they're sort of scattered throughout the room. We have Travis, who's been recording so much of our music tonight. Dominic, I don't know if Dominic's in the room or not. Ezekiel, Brooke, Jaleesa, Linkoya, Alicia, those are the folks I've seen. We couldn't do it without you guys being willing to share your stories with us and with the entire Jacksonville community. You're truly an amazing story individually and together, and we can't say enough about you, so thank you all. While you've read many of their stories, I wanted to invite one of the students up here tonight, Alicia Edmonds. Alicia is an amazing young woman whose story is one that that really shows the power of a couple of adults that stepped into her life and really helped her become what she had the potential to be. And so I'll turn it over to Alicia.
I don't like the podium very much, so I'm going to thank you all for being here. It's really great to see familiar faces and meet new faces. I am one of the students at the campaign. My name is Alicia Edmonds. I am 23 years old. I went to several different high schools, never knew stability. Started at Stanton College Preparatory and couldn't exactly make it. I was, a little below average, and then I moved on to Lee High School, and because my family moved a lot, we moved around. Like I said, no stability, so ended up at Wilson High School and graduated. I'm doing all these amazing things. I have a full-time job. I'm the events intern for the Jacksonville Public Education Fund, so I get to put together all these fun things that you all are coming to. And so really, I think I'm doing great now, but it wasn't always like that. I never knew the importance of education. That wasn't something that was really instilled in me, and because of the instability and the moving around all of the time, it was hard for me to grab stable ground and to have those good grades and to be successful in high school. And so when I got to Wilson, after going to several different high schools, I got there not knowing anybody. I felt lost in this crowd of people, and and there were teachers and people that took over and cared for me when I didn't have that in places where I should. And I think that that's so huge, and what's so important about this campaign is that as the theme, one by one, we just need that one person to speak wisdom into us or to be by our side, and I had that, in a few teachers and at Wilson High School, as if you read my story, you'll see. And so they did things like, I wasn't going to walk. There was no way I would walk at my graduation, but a few teachers bought my announcements and bought my cap and gown, and I even spoke at my graduation and my baccalaureate, and at award ceremonies I ended up winning thousands and thousands of dollars of scholarships to go to college, and I thought that my life and my family was 18 years my parents were married, and then ended with divorce, and that's kind of how all of that kind of downfell. My parents were sort of removed from my life, and so I had to rely on other people to love and care for me, and those people, you know, really stepped up. You know, one by one they were able to help me to get me where I am now, you know. And so I really, when I think about this campaign and why it's so important, it's to let you students know that might be having difficulties in school or in life or in any area, to know that we all do. We all go through difficulties, but with other people in our lives and with our own strength, you know, we can get through it, you know. And to also let you as a community know that it's so important that we rally around each other and students that are struggling. I mean, there's so much more to the eye. You know, I might look like a very average person to you. You know, I have a good job. I have, you know, my life is great now, but it goes deeper than that. There's a lot more pain and hurt that if it weren't for teachers like Chris Force or Karen Hanks or other, you know, friends' parents that loved me and took care of me and guided me through school, there's no way that I would be standing in front of you telling you how important all of this is. So I really appreciate you all being here. Please, it's so important that if you've seen that exhibit and you were moved by it, if you weren't, I think that there's a problem, because it is a very, very moving exhibit, and there are a lot of students have so many amazing stories and struggles that they have gone through, and you should take that and know that there's somebody right next to you that's going through the same thing or something even worse that need you. And so I really encourage you all to you know, get involved as much as you can. There's so many different ways that you can. I think it's onebyonejacks.org, if I'm correct. That will show you all the ways. I mean, different ways like mentoring or just talking to a student or donating your time in any way will help change the lives of, I think, not just someone like me, but lots of different students. So thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you. I hope you enjoy the rest of the night in the exhibit.
Thank you so much, Alicia, and for really getting on, just coming up on the spot and sharing with us your story. This is the time. When you came in tonight, everybody got, in addition to your form, which you're going to fill out and drop back off, everybody got a sticker that says, "I am one." And really, this campaign is intentional, and we chose those words very specifically because everyone here has a role. Everyone in this community has a role, whether they have a child in the school system or not. Our city's future, both educationally and economically, depends on what we do in the next few years around our public education system. So I can't emphasize to you enough.